Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a comparison test of different launchers on a Galaxy S4 running 4.3. We're going to be starting off with the Google Edition launcher, then we'll be going into Apex, Nova, Action Launcher, and then I want to show you something about the TouchWiz launcher as well. But starting off with Google Edition, it's a very simple launcher really, not many options. It's fast, it quickly goes into Google now from a swipe here. Biggest change over this from the 4.1 launcher probably is no more widgets in the app drawer anymore. It's all done from long presses on here, and that for me shows one of the problems. It's not on here, but on the Nexus 7 or something where there's no hardware or software menu key, it relies on long presses to add things, even wanting to add another page. And, well, when you've got the whole screen filled up with a widget or an app, and you try and do a long press, that's what it wants to do. It's hard to find a part of the screen to long press on to add something. I mean, on an S4 or something with a menu key, you can press the menu button here and it will come up with what you want anyway. But when you haven't got that, it can make it a little bit harder. I don't know if anyone else has found that a problem. But other than that, it's an amazing launcher. It does feature the hotkey support. Hot word activation, I should say. I haven't got it turned on because it only works with American English at the moment, and well, that's fine to play around with. If I then ask it to call mum and it looks for MOM instead of MUM, it can be kind of, well, it can be awkward, so I'm leaving it on English at the moment, traditional English as I like to call it. So that's basically all I have to say about the Google launcher. Now we'll head over into, we'll go with Action Launcher next actually. Action Launcher isn't one of the most customizable launchers on the market, but it does have a lot of great features. The predominant one is shutters. If you swipe up over an app's icon, it comes up with the app's widget, and I have no idea why Justin Bieber is appearing in my timeline. Somebody must be retweeting him. I may have to unfollow some people. That's not supposed to happen. If you go from YouTube here, you get the YouTube widget, which is offline at the moment because I get a lot of notifications and that would probably ruin the video, so everything's off at the moment. Actually the biggest feature of this, the biggest difference, is there's no app drawer. It's all done from a swipe. I held my finger down there too long. A swipe from the left bezel here, and that brings up all of your apps in an alphabetical order. You can add them to your home screen, and then another swipe that way takes you to your widgets with the same thing. Another great feature, which I believe was in the last update, is swiping from the right bezel and getting this, where you can have your favourite icons and widgets. So here I have my calendar, my Google Play Music, a search widget, calls, texts, power toggles, and camera. And that actually is an extremely useful thing. I switch launchers a lot, and I find that when I'm going somewhere, like going out, say to college or something, and I need to know where everything is, this is the launcher I come to, because with other launchers I could open it and forget that I've just rearranged everything and rethemed everything and then have to hunt around and dig around for some stuff. So this is probably my most useful and easy to find launcher, but most of the time I'm in either Apex or Nova, and Apex is next. Apex is quite a lot like Nova launcher really, but with a couple of extra options added in. One thing I noticed though is it's nowhere near as smooth, especially if you have the elastic scrolling option turned on. If you go here, you'll notice every so often it will stutter and drop a few frames. Going into the app drawer it can stutter. It's not really doing it now, but it does on occasion. Other than that, it's a brilliant launcher. I love the fact no other launcher I found does this so far. It has a tablet UI mode even when you're not on a tablet. I really like that, being able to just click here for apps and not having to use a dock for things like that. Maybe some people hate it. I like it. I like that it's an option. Another great option is that you get theme settings, and you go here, and instead of manually changing all the icons from the launcher, but then having to open the icons app to add the wallpapers, you just click the theme you want, say Nox, and you can ask it to apply the skin, icon pack, and wallpaper, and normally fonts, but not for this app. And when you do that, it changes everything. This can save a lot of time if you change themes a lot, which I do. Other than that, it's basically the same as Nova. Another great feature actually is to do with icon sizes. With Nova Launcher and things like that, you've got one slider for icon size, and then that slider governs the home screen, app drawer, and dock. But with this, the home screen has an icon size, the drawer has an icon size, somewhere, icon size, and the dock has an icon size slider. So you can change it for everything, because it's disabled at the moment, but I have a much bigger grid on the desktop than I do here. Or I want bigger icons here because I don't want any gaps, but I want, because there's no labels, but I want labels in the app drawer, so I want smaller icons, things like that. It's more of an option, and I do prefer that. However, for smoothness and speed, that's when you go to Nova Launcher, and Nova will always be special to me, I think, because it's the first custom launcher I ever tried, so I'm always going to be partial to it. And here it is. This is my setup at the moment. It's very practical as opposed to beautiful at the moment. One of the standout features actually for this is probably the backup option. Apex has it as well, but Apex doesn't let you name your backups, and it only lets you keep one at a time and on the main storage. This lets you import from other launchers like everything else, but it lets you back up to the external SD card or the default storage. It also lets you have a lot more than one backup. A lot more. For me, that's easier because if I've got a really nice theme but I have an idea for something new, I don't want to then have to give up that one just in case the next one doesn't turn out so well. But with Nova I can just port straight back really easily, and it's much more simple. Both Nova and Apex have now, and Action Launcher as well actually, have now adopted more of the KitKat styling. So we get KitKat style folders and colours, the new app button, the new scroll indicator, things like that. Out of all the launchers, which one would I'd download the free versions of all of them. Which ones would I actually pay for? If I could only choose one, Nova Launcher. That's the one I'd pay for. I mean, I have bought Action Launcher as well. Action Launcher is a close second. Apex is great for free. Not sure if I'd pay for the pro features though. So really, I would say out of the launchers I've showed you, the ones I'd recommend the most would be Action Launcher, just for the sheer usefulness of it and some of the cool features with the swipes. It's a really easy launcher to use and really practical as well. But for theming at the moment, Nova for me is still king. It just is. It's the easiest to use in a lot of ways. There are a couple of features it doesn't have that Apex does, but the smoothness and the backup option for me is what still makes it my favourite. Now, I did say I wanted to show you something about the TouchWiz launcher, and I'm going to do that quickly now. A lot of people say it lags, and it isn't as smooth as Nova. I will definitely say that. It's nowhere near as smooth as Nova or Apex or Action or Google Edition. It isn't. But it's nowhere near as bad people say it is. It doesn't drop frames or stutter anywhere near as much as people say. Look, going through home screens is fine. Launching my apps drawer is fine. Swiping through the apps is fine. Going to widgets is fine. Every now and then it might render a little bit where you'll just get grey boxes instead of the pictures of widgets and you have to wait for it to render, but to be fair, even Nova Launcher does that for me, and the stock launcher on my Nexus 7 does that. And at the moment, the S4 isn't doing it at all. It's just being smooth. The animations are slower. I think they've put what we'll call relaxed animations into the launcher for it to work, but let's not confuse that with lag. In fact, there's only still one bit of lag I find on my S4, and that's the stock gallery app, which takes forever to open, and then takes forever to open an album. Other than that, it's fine, and I have the Google launcher installed anyway, which I prefer. Gallery, I mean, not launcher. Other than that, the other Samsung apps don't lag either. I don't use many of them, but the My Galaxy app's pretty good. I've only used my Samsung Music once because they had a free album available, and that was a pretty smooth process as well. To be fair, that's what I really wanted to conclude on. TouchWiz Launcher is nowhere near my favourite, but it is nowhere near as bad as people say it is. I think what happened with the S4 is the first few months, I know I went into a shop and tried it and it lagged pretty badly. but then within a couple of weeks in came the system updates. It was literally only a few weeks, and it was fine. And let's be honest, all phones have problems in the first few weeks. I know there were a few KitKat issues for the first few weeks to do with 4G and Bluetooth being on at the same time. I'm not sure exactly, I don't get 4G here, and it's only a Nexus 7 anyway. But I know there were a few issues with that. A few weeks later, 4.41 and 4.42 came out. So really, no phone launches without problems. Samsung fixed this very quickly. If I couldn't change the launcher, I would be in no way disappointed really with TouchWiz. It does work okay. It works brilliantly, and if I had to put up with it, I would. It's only the lack of customization features, the same with the Google Edition launcher really, that means I don't use it. So I think maybe there's a problem with the bandwagon thing at the moment, where Samsung seem to be one of the bigger companies, definitely in the Android world, and because of that, people must hate them. I'm not saying they're the best. Other companies do things and do it better. But I'm just saying they're nowhere near as bad as people say there are. And that's really what I wanted to conclude this video with. Yeah, it ain't perfect, but it's no less or more perfect than the Google Edition launcher. It runs perfectly. So I think maybe we should all jump off the bandwagon now and just accept it for what it is, and that's actually a pretty damn good phone. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments, either on Google Plus or on YouTube. I hope you liked the video. Bye guys.